And our next guest is Sam McElroy, a partner at Financial and at Financial Investments in the great city of Chicago, Illinois. Sam, welcome back to the show.
How you doing? One of these days I'm going to teach you how to say that correctly.
That's how he said it in grammar school. I figure it's good enough back then in the second grade. It's good enough now, but we don't have time to talk about grammar school. We need to know, our income generation members are sitting here and they're anxious to know what you think is going to happen next year. Are we going to see a recession, or is the president going to be able to push off that recession to 2020?
I think it's really likely that it actually happens next year. There was a recent survey that I was looking at where they were surveying top CFOs from U.S. corporations. And the interesting part was that 82 of the CFOs projected a recession by 2020. But some of the things that I'm seeing towards the tail end of this year makes me feel like 2019 may actually be a really good year to see that as well. Okay, so you think you might hit the recession this year. So the stock market, we're down now, let's say 15% across the broader indices. So is that enough for now? Do you think maybe the market will rebound at some point next year and then drop again with a recession? Or do you think it'll keep dropping from here? What are your thoughts? My concern is that I think it's going to keep dropping throughout the course of this year. I think a lot of things that we've seen in previous years has really had a lot to do with things that were artificially bolstering the stock market. I think for years it's been overvalued. We've been in a situation where there just hasn't really been a lot of fundamental sense from an economic standpoint. And you can only live in that realm for so long. And I think now we're seeing the other shoe fall. And my concern is that a lot of what's been priced into the market in previous years, we're now seeing start to unravel a little bit throughout the course of this year potentially.
Even though the economy might do fine for the first part of 2019, recession hits later in the year, you're still thinking the market isn't really going to recover. We're not going to see a new high. It's going to keep sliding.
I think so. There's a couple of paths where I could see it potentially trying to jump back up, but I always ask myself based on what? What economic data could we now see that's going to make everybody all of a sudden feel that this trend is going to reverse itself and to be optimistic for the market? I think that a lot of stuff that's happening with interest rates may even further hurt it.
Yeah. Do you think the Fed's going to continue raising rates a lot next year, or do you think they're going to slow down? I mean, you heard Powell's comments last week.
I did, and it kind of shocked me. In a sense, I thought we were going to hear a lot of talk to build in a lot more wiggle room to be able to stop this kind of acceleration in terms of interest rates. But he seemed pretty determined that unless there's just a total collapse to some degree, that interest rates are going to continue to increase. And so my best guess is, probably see another couple of interest rates increases next year, okay, unless the shoes start, unless the wheels start to fall off.
So Sam, 10 seconds on a pin you against the wall here. Where do you think the market's going to end up at the end of 2019?
If we're talking about the Dow, best guess, I'm going to say somewhere between 18 and 20,000. If we're looking at the S&P 500, I think maybe in the 21 to 2,200 realm.
The down 25 to 30% from where we are today. As usual, we appreciate your words of wisdom, Sam. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.